We also had Vince McMahon show up one
Oh,
day.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Damn.
You see celebrities coming in and out. This is New York, so
Yeah. Dude, I used to work at a coffee shop and I would see celebrities come in every once in a while.
yeah, it's a cool. It's cool
That's New
because
York. They just pop up.
yeah, you just go downtown. Maybe you'll see Denzel Washington feeding some birds or something on a park bench, or
Yeah.
Keanu Reeves in the subway fighting crime.
I saw the dude from American Pie. I don't know. I forget the guy's name. The guy that actually fucked the pie.
Yeah. Oh crap.
Basically, I guess the main character.
Yeah, but what's his name, man?
I don't remember.
He never really made it.
He's in a few things, but yeah, he never became like a super duper star. But he had work. He's alright.
He had like 3 or 4 movies. He had a run where they were trying to push him.
You kind of only really need one, right?
I guess, but
he did what three American Pies, and then he did like a few other things, and some.
There was Loser.
Yeah,
he also starred in with American Pie. Mina Suvari, who she fell off, man. She was in American Beauty. Like that was like an Academy Award winning movie.
Oh yeah.
But I guess she couldn't play a teenager forever, and she only really looked like a teenager.
She wasn't the greatest actress, I don't think. She just
no, she was
had
good.
a look.
She was pretty good.
Yeah.
You know what? I can't say that. She was pretty good in American Beauty and American Pie. Which
yeah, I mean, she was, I think, serviceable.
Oh, also Loser. I
wouldn't call her great or anything.
She was pretty good in Loser. Like she was better than her.
Right.
Because she was like playing like a realistic like girl who's like down on her luck. I think she had been like date or something. I'm gonna have to bleep that.
Oh damn. They were really going for it with that one, huh?
Well, kind of. Basically, wait, what happened here? So that was sort of one of the themes of the movie, was that there were these guys going around with like what they called rope, but it was rohypnol. And
okay, yeah, that's dumb. Rope.
yeah, and so they did.
It's a little on the nose, right?
Yeah. So I think that one of them had like done that to her, and she didn't know about it. I don't remember. I just remember that she was sort of homeless. So like she was staying in this animal shelter with Jason, whatever his name is. Yeah, he worked in an animal shelter.
That's crazy.
He was the titular loser, and she stayed in there with him, and then eventually those guys were like, oh, that's what they did. They got him. They kicked him out of he was one of their roommates, and he had to live in the animal shelter because they kicked him out of the apartment because he was such a loser, and they wanted to drug women, give him the old Cosby treatment, and they figured
it's so edgy.
He wasn't. They figured he wouldn't be down with it or something, right? Well, this is like early 2000s. This is back when you could still fuck a pie on camera.
Little did they know he was super down with it.
No, he wasn't down with it. So eventually he discovers that they're doing this, and so he switches all their him and the girl switch all their rohypnol with like ginseng and shit, and all like multivitamins basically. And like I remember those probably my favorite scene in the movie was he's like, wait, are there any side effects for this? Like they're gonna be slipping this into women's drinks, and she's like, I mean, it might make them smarter, right? So they had this party in the animal shelter because for whatever reason they couldn't have it in the apartment. I don't remember why. Right, and that's what they said. They're like, we need you to have somebody off, base. That's why we kicked you out, so we could have cool parties over here. And you know, he didn't fall for it this time, but they did have the party. And all the girls like were just like studying and shit. They were all like really high strung, like oh man, I gotta get out of here. None of them. He's like, did you give him the rope or anything? He's like, yeah, man, I don't know. This one girl started doing her algebra homework. They were all acting very responsibly.
That's great.
So yeah, it was. I just remember it being funny. But yeah,
that is funny.
That's the loser.
Whipping out her algebra homework.
Yeah, like
you know what? I've never seen it, but I do kind of remember seeing like the poster or whatever. You know, like the picture of him, loser, the movie poster or whatever.
Mina Savari in a hipster costume.
Yeah. And I was always like, what is this, a rom-com?
Yeah.
In some ways it is.
It is. But it's also like, you know, like a National Lampoon style gross out comedy too. Like there was some elements to that.
With Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
90s was wild. Oh wait, was this 90s? No, this is 2000s.
Yeah. This is like the tail end of when you could actually make a joke.
Yeah, I know. Nowadays you can't do shit.
Patrice O'Neal said it best, like, because like basically he was on some panel. I don't even know why he agreed to go on this show, but you know, it was like sort of an around the horn thing. Like they have a little window with him there, and they have like a little window, I think, with, you know, just a bunch of women, right? And he was trying to advocate for jokes of what do they call it? Struggle snuggling. Yeah, you can't say the R word on YouTube. But yes, for struggle
snuggles.
Yeah. So he was on there and they were saying you should never make a joke about that, you know, and he was like, well, I don't expect you to get it, like, but maybe that joke's just not for you, right? Like sometimes jokes not funny. He's like, really? You think it's okay to make jokes about that? He's like, I got a few bangers, you know, you probably wouldn't you probably wouldn't like it if you heard them, but I got some pretty good ones.
That's good. I got a few bangers. It's hysterical. Yeah, he's a savage. But I don't know, it's like is it good to censor comedy? I don't know. But then again, can comics say whatever the hell they want?
They should be able to, yes. That's literally their right in society. That's what they're there for, right? You know,
yeah, to critique things, right?
It's, well, just not even there. Like you're establishing the baseline for what is offensive anyway, right? So here's all the offensive stuff that you're not really allowed to say, and for the most part, people still aren't going to say it. Even if they hear it, you know, they might repeat the joke, but most people aren't going to change their life and just start, you know, like, oh, I'm gonna, you know, start struggle snuggling people.
I do think that ideas should be challenged, even those ideas. So yeah, they should be allowed to say what they want. But then again, also people should be able to challenge what a comedian says as well.
Yeah, they can challenge it.
Because how can you?
Where we are is in a place where you had a comedian, and he's not a great comedian, but he's got like the most successful podcast of all time, and they've just repeatedly tried to cancel Joe Rogan and a bunch of other guys, like, on anything. So it was like, oh, he said the N-word in some jokes, like, way back in the day. I was like, I mean, he's a white guy from Boston. If he didn't, I would be surprised. Right? You know, he may have alluded to black people as a certain member of the zoological.
He's Louise.
Yeah, so So they didn't age well, but that's the thing is sensibilities change. So
It's a different time.
what is offensive? Like it used to be, you couldn't be a gay person out in public. It used to be very offensive, right?
Yeah.
It literally used to be illegal, but because of the fact that we had this rule in America where it's like, listen, you get to express yourself however you want, so long as you ain't hurting nobody, that's fine. And the gay people benefited from it. Trans people benefited from it. That's how they got to where they were, was because of people like you can't tell me what to do. This is America, right? So you got to take the bad with the good. You got to take the bad with the good. It's the lesser of two evils. Freedom of speech will always be the lesser of two evils. That's what I tell people. You can't, especially since after
if you go the other way, it's terrible.
Because that's what happened was like at first it started with like the N-word. You can't say the N-word, and for the most part, everyone agreed, and that was sort of fine, right? It just got retired, right? But then you started creeping where it was like, well, you can't disagree with the government. You can't disagree with doctors or scientists. You can't joke about a disease. You can't joke about like a tragedy. It's like, what?
When do we stop? When are we gonna stop not allowing people to do something?
Well, no, I mean we only had like a brief window in like the late 1980s to the like mid 2000s, right? There was this brief window where you could do whatever you want. So that was sort of like the golden age of entertainment. That's like, where we had, you and I talk about this all the time, like Steven Spielberg executive producing cartoons, because it's just like no one was judging him for doing that back then.
Yeah.
He does whatever he wants, and there was sort of like you started having a judgment-free zone. Like when we were kids, you didn't really have that much racism going around. We all had a mixed friend group, like because that was just the kids we were around. And then when we got older, that's when it started showing up.
But it's also, we live in New York, so
but you've seen a
the
Bronx
rules are
Tale.
a little different than
You've seen a Bronx Tale. It wasn't always thus.
True that.
It's like you can't be hanging out with those types. Them dark-skinned dudes. Right?
The brownies.
I don't want to use actual slurs. I guess that's not a real slur. Combine with the end of what you said with the beginning of what I said. But that I almost said that.
Louise.
It's been so long since I've used any slur.
Yeah. I'm dying. Oh, my girlfriend, she started watching ER again. Nice. And like that show you couldn't make that show these days, bro. There's this lady who a bunch of people got into a fire and she's like calling for help, and she's like, the guy's like, what's going on? She goes, we have 15 crispy critters on the way to the ER. I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? And I remember when I was upstate, when I was younger, I used to date this girl, and she had a friend, and she used to call her boyfriends crispy critters because she only dated black guys.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, it was pretty fucking savage.
That is pretty...
I mean, she was like half black, half white. I was like, no one's gonna say anything to this girl? Jeez Louise, they thought it was cute and quirky.
Yeah, so you still ran into some of that. Like, I remember my brother, he dated this Italian girl, right? I mean, for like the first half of the 1900s, Italians weren't even considered white. These people really had the gall to be racist. But anyway, he was dating this Italian girl. We all loved her. She was nice. She worked at Thoroughbreds and got us free stuff, which was awesome.
Nice.
Anyway, he didn't really like her, and I could see why. But so basically, he couldn't even tell her that he was Puerto Rican. He had to tell her parents He couldn't tell her parents that he was Puerto Rican. He had to tell her that he was Greek.
That's great.
Puerto Rican? You mean Blacker Rican? You know what that? You know who was on that island? We don't go with those types. So yeah, apparently her parents, or at least her dad,
Jesus.
was definitely still like an old school racist in the late '90s, early 2000s.
I mean, those still exist to this day.
I know, but I feel like, well, it is dying. Like I feel like Gen Alpha, Gen Z, Gen Alpha, the millennials, we didn't have a lot. Even if we were, it was usually just because it was funny, like the internet trolls, right? That's my whole thing
Yeah.
about censorship is, like, for instance, the N word. Like I told somebody one time, like, you're gonna let someone like have that much control over your emotions? Like all they have to do is say this magic word, it's like a spell, and they could, bam, now you're angry, you know? And he's like, yeah, well, I'm gonna knock them out. Is like, that's what I'm saying is, is like they can literally force you into making a mistake.
Yeah, I mean, it is sort of like a system of control, right? It's like we know this button we can push and then we can get someone arrested or whatever,
Yeah.
fired.
Yeah, and
A magical fucking button.
that's why it's like it's unwise to allow it to have that much power. And even back like in the civil rights movement and like truly racist times, you know, I think people gave less of a crap about it back then because it was just a word. Like they were dealing with like other stuff. Like he just called me then, where like he didn't throw a rock at me or pull a gun or try and hang me from a
Yeah.
tree like some strange fruit.
Yeah. Which, was a thing.
Yeah, well, that was in reference to what was it, Doris? Oh, it's not Doris Day.
The strangest fruit.
It was freaking what? Billie Holiday? Billie Holiday's song.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it's called Strange Fruit, and it was basically about, you know, people getting lynched.
That's crazy.
Tis indeed. But
Well,
it was
yeah,
also
that
like
was the time.
Well, it was poignant for how she grew up. I mean, she grew in very dark and depressing times. But my whole problem with like modern progressivism is they refuse to acknowledge that any progress was made. They're really treating it like strange fruit
Yeah, that's crazy.
is happening right now everywhere you go. And so
It's definitely not.
yeah. First off, I mean, you just see a lot of mixed people. You know, just all these exotic looking, beautiful. I don't know if this is a cancelable word, but beautiful mulatto babies, mestizo.
No, there's actually. I don't get me wrong. I mean, I don't know exactly if I got this 100%, but I think there was a study done that says that mixed people are the most attractive people. I don't know if that was just propaganda or what. Sounds like maybe it could be.
I'll believe it. All right.
It doesn't matter what the mix is, as long as you have two different races. Like they tend to like rate higher in the looks department than just pure.
You see that baby?
Pure blooded or whatever the fuck you want to call it.
That baby's cute as hell.
Yeah.
But she's you know, mixed people in America. You got a lot more than you used to, and like I said previous, like all those when the baby boomers die, that's gonna be like the last generation where it was, for the most part, majority racist, right? Because Gen X, I don't know what was before Gen X and between Gen X and the baby boomers, but Gen X, the millennials, not a whole lot of them where you're getting less and less racist, and then when you get to like Gen Z and Gen Alpha, like those are becoming adults now, right? Someone who's born in the year
Nostalgia.
in the year 2000 is 25 now.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah. So they grew up in a world where, for the most part, like by the time they were old enough to be on the internet, it was really a taboo for anyone to use what on the internet we call, I guess, gamer words. Because that was where you used to
Gamer
hear it.
words.
I mean, you still hear it in Call of Duty lobbies, but people ban those guys. That's why you can't like stream those
People still
games.
play Call of Duty?
Yeah, they come out with a new one every year. It's barely
That's pretty
different
wild.
than the last one. It's bland.
Yeah.
Gamer words. That's the term that they use it, because for a while it was mostly fine. Like nobody was using it in that sense. They would just use it like only in a joking sense, right? No one was using it in the strange fruit sense, like I hate those. Insert slur here.
Yeah.
So they really, it wasn't that big a deal, but then like they started, the YouTube started happening, Newgrounds was happening, and all those things just stayed on the internet. Like, everyone started recording everything, so it wasn't a good look
Oh yeah, for sure.
for the gamer words. All right.
I've been drawing a terrible picture of you this whole time.
Nice. That's a pretty good segue, since we can now start.
The likeness is not really there.